So our last exercise here is a very interesting challenge. When you solve linear equations, if you look at this example here, you have 4x plus 8 equals 0. You have a simple step-by-step process which allows you to work out that x equals minus 2. Now, is it possible to convert that into a piece of software where you pass in this number here 4 and that number there, that's always going to be 0, that's going to be x, and that's going to allow us to always find the solution to x? That's a very, very interesting challenge. So what we're saying here is that we have, if you look at the example here that's been given in here, if 4 and 8 can both be input values, so let's call that number 1 and let's call that number 2, then we know that if we rearrange the equation, right, so we go number 1, I won't write it out mathematically because it will get quite obscure, but x should equal minus number 2 divided by number 1. So there should be a way of writing a piece of software that I can pass in these two values and it will give me the solution. So why not let's try to turn that into a piece of code. So we've got solving simple linear equations. So let's call this one, let's define this one as define solve linear equation. Okay, let's open close brackets. Let's shift this up. Now, what I'm also trying to encourage in these videos is the idea, and what I'm going to do in the previous one is pop that there, pop that statement there. Bear with me a second. Alt 3, so we can do that's your process and that's your input level. I just tidy this up. I'm going to stick to this to encourage you to see a program in this way we're talking as made up of 3 parts, and in that way, so let's do it again. So we've got an input. What is our input going to be? What's our process going to be? And print altering, and what's our output going to be? Okay, so what we might want to put before our input is a general print statement which says open solving linear equation of form, right? And let's type this right so we can see what we're actually doing. And this also will hopefully encourage you to see that by putting this here, the beginning of this method, it will be visible. So the form is this, right? Number 1 times x plus number 2 equals 0. That's the general form of what we are going to try to solve. So first of all, we want to get our input. So we say n1 equals, is it going to be whole numbers? A very good question. Let's say initially we're going to input whole numbers but output something with a potential decimal value because it could be a fraction. Okay, so we're going to take int, open close bracket, in there put your input statement, open close bracket, and then say n1. You're going to enter your n1 there. Okay, your first number. And your second number, n2, it's going to go there. The process is going to be, and we said, if we go back to our notes, we calculate the solution for x minus n2 over n1. Now, how do I know that's true? Well, what I've done is I've just generalized this, right? If 8 is n2 and 4 is n1, let's just go back and look at my notes, right? So if we plug them in, that's minus 8 over 4, which gives us minus 2. Let's just check that that's correct. It is correct. That is the solution. So we can use a general pattern here to do this. Now, here is a huge advantage to you in using programming to also support your supports your mathematics. So if we say solution is, and what did we say? Minus n2 divided by n1. So what are we going to output? So we'll output, and what we'll do is we'll do what we did before. So we'll say that we'll call it output string, okay? And we're going to build it here because it'll just help us in the formatting. So let's say that the output says x equals, and now solution is going to be a float because it could have a fraction in there, but we need to convert it to a string. So let's put the solution value in a bracket. That gives us our output string. So all we do is we print that output string. The easiest way to stop hand typing is learn to double click the name of a variable and paste it in. That looks right to me. So we're solving a linear equation. There are two inputs. That's the solution. That's the output. Right click, run file as script, make sure everything's okay. It is. Let's grab the function name, open close bracket, and I don't think I've grabbed it properly. Hang on a second. There we go. Open close. Let's run it. So solving linear equation of form n1x. So what's n1? So let's take the example. n1 was 4 from our example, and n2 was minus 8. And the solution is 2. And what you can find is that you have built something to solve a very simple type of linear equation through a piece of code. This both supports your understanding of mathematics and brings us to the end of these particular notes, and also it supports you for your programming. Let me just stop that. Thank you.